Mike Van Antwerp. We're going to do some taping. This is a style of taping we use for the knees, super common, probably the most common taping we do because it works so great on front kneecap. We'll create a little hammock or a little cradle for the kneecap, which will help take some of the tension off. If we have some swelling around the kneecap, it'll help reduce some of that swelling by lifting up the surface layer of skin and helping it drain. Then also there's a little bit of skin or proprioceptive feedback to the brain. So in other words, when we touch something or rub something, a lot of times after we've been injured, it'll feel better. Same thing with the tape. We put the tape on there, it can feel better. So it's kind of a three-pronged idea on how taping works. For the kneecap, it works super great because of the suspension or a lifting of that kneecap just a little bit. So this tape's elastic, and we'll have a backing here we'll need to pull off. So I'm going to measure it. We'll get under here, and we're going to cut 2 strips to that length. So we'll get both of those. There's different forms of tape out there. I tend to use Rock Tape H2O, their water sport version. Just for us as the office, it just keeps it attaching well. We're going to cut these corners off. So some people do the whole kind of fingernail looking thing, cut the whole end of it off. I cut these little nibs. Maybe I'm trying not to waste tape. Maybe that's why I'm doing it. But it creates a bunch of confetti you got to clean up later, but we'll get it. So I'm tearing the backing off one end. I'm going to layer it down. If I think of a midline for this kneecap, that's where I'm going to place one of the edges. You can angle it inward if you need a traction or pull that kneecap a little bit inward if they have a tendency to luxate or dislocate their knees. That's the air conditioning going on. So we're going to go here, layer this down. There's our midline. Wrap it around. And I'm just wrapping it nicely underneath. That way it looks, it follows that tendon, it follows around the kneecap. We're going to tear this back in here. And then we're going to layer this one along that midline again. The reason I'm going up a little bit is I'm getting a part of that quadricep group, and then I'm going to nicely wrap it underneath. When I do this, I think of painting almost. I'm painting around the kneecap. Nice and clean. I got a little bit of a wrinkle. There we go. We got it smoothed out. Don't want any wrinkles in it. So, and it also looks neat and clean instead of having these pieces kind of angle off over to the side and kind of look having an amateur style to it. So it looks nice and clean and good. So I'm going to measure this piece here. That's going to fit in our infrapatellar tendon, or really over our infrapatellar bursa, notching the edges. Again, creating a lot of little confetti over here. And one thing I like to do is create a little bit of a notch. So I just folded that tape in half, created a little notch, and it just fits nicely on the kneecap. I'll tear it in the middle, and then I'll have actually a little bit of stretch or lift, more than I did here. Here I just layered it down, maybe with about 20% tension. Here I'm actually adding more tension, maybe about 40%. So I have the tension here, and then I just layer the ends down without as much tension, just so it's not pulling throughout, it's just pulling underneath that kneecap. And then you have this nice, clean wrap. So if Diane straightens her knee out, we're going to get this kind of puckered, wrinkled effect. Maybe not the most aesthetically pleasing thing you want, but it's great. It lets you know this is lifting this up. So if you realize we tape this kneecap up in a 90-degree position, layering it down lightly, and I always think of this like an hourglass, or not so much an hourglass, actually a magnifying glass type shape, and then this little smiley face underneath, and then we're getting this lifting and traction of the kneecap up.